Let's talk about Hamas Piker here real quick. This is an 11-minute video. This is a quick one. Yeah, this idiot here, under investigation. I think indictments either pending or have been handed out. But you remember that little stunt he did where he went over to Cuba? Yeah, Hassan's in a spot of trouble about that. And when he learned that the feds were looking into him over that little holiday he had in the so-called communist paradise, Bruce squealed like a fucking pig. I mean, he rolled on everyone. It was pathetic. It really was pathetic. Darth Grumbly Dad, thank you for doing me not first. Also, hello. Huckleberry, that's a term for pallbearer at a funeral. Yeah, old line from the movie Tombstone. Good film, by the way. Point is, what I was trying to say is, I'm your man.
Of whether Hasan is going to get in trouble, right? I mean, like, we'll see. Okay, here we go. Let's take a look.
I say Huckleberry because it's a funny word. It's a funny sounding word.
Hasan Piker is now under federal...
Oh, legal mindset. Okay. We know that chap. He's good people. We like him.
Investigation, and this time the penalties can be very serious. We're gonna today on the Legal Mindset. We teach you to be your own judge. I'm Andrew Esquire, American attorney. Now, Hasan Piker is no stranger to controversy.
Andrew looks like he's lost a little bit of weight. Looks like he's been slimming down a bit. That's good. Good for him. Also, love the tailoring. I like the combination of the shirt and the jacket. Well done, sir.
And potentially filming his crimes live.
Kaya, please just go.
Shock.
Now this time it's not for Collargate, but this time it's for something serious, as the Treasury Department's Office of Foreign Assets Control, or OFAC, is probing into his participation in a March 2026 activist trip to Cuba. He was part of the Nuestra America convoy, which was deemed as a humanitarian.
Wasn't supposed to be doing that. Wasn't supposed to be doing that. They make a lot of good huckleberry treats in my general area. Oh, really? Interesting. Huckleberries. They sound. I've never had them before, but I think they're like, what are they, like figs or blackberries or something like that? I could be wrong.
Aid convoy,
it's always humanitarian.
Many activists.
Yeah. Getting involved with this bitch over here, Medea Benjamin. I think she's also been caught up in the dragnet. She, more than likely, is probably going to get off with a slap on the wrist because, she knows people and she's, part of certain acceptable groups of people that are allowed to just get away with whatever the fuck they want. Hamas Piker, not so much. Not so much. He's been enough of an annoying thorn in the side of a lot of people that could be it for him. We don't know.
Many of which, in fact,
wild blueberries
for violating U.S. law.
We're here with Morid, and he is a Palestinian currently studying for free.
Here in Palestine and Cuba, things are all too similar. Both our peoples are living the same thing because of the same enemy. I am ready to be on the battlefield.
Right.
No, it couldn't be that you're just shit people. You're just, you're part of the bad guys. It couldn't possibly be that. It couldn't possibly be that, this is the best you can manage because, you bad people can't stop doing bad things, I guess.
For my people to support them on the front lines.
You do support them on the front lines by doing the terrorism. Yeah, fuck off, man. Fuck off.
The issue says, essentially boils down to, did he violate official U.S. sanctions in his trip to Cuba? Now, we're going to get into those.
There was a time when, very briefly, you could go over to Cuba, as part of a group of holiday goers, limited flights from America to Havana. You could bring back souvenirs. Plenty of people did. And it's my girlfriend at the time, she and her family went over there as part of a tour group, and they brought back the usual things of, Cuban rum, Cuban cigars. I can tell you, chat, Havana Club rum, no. That stuff is swill. Even Bacardi is better.
very specific and very, very serious allegations.
Yeah, that's
but
the
first,
question, right?
I have
Who
a very
knows?
important message.
Recently, a jury
The
ordered
angry
Meta
bar-
and
yeah.
YouTube to pay
Is it the
millions
Jews
for
in
their
Cuba
role
too?
in designing and promoting
Hey,
addictive platforms. They
it's
knew their
everywhere,
apps could contribute
okay?
to anxiety, depression, and body image issues,
Yeah.
but did not share those risks while prioritizing
Is this a Morgan and
profits.
Morgan
The
ad?
recent historic
Are
verdict
people in Cuba
underscores
wearing
the
kefos?
consequences of
It's an
those
identity
decisions.
movement.
If you or your child spent
obviously an
years growing
identity
up
movement.
on social media and experienced serious
Clearly.
mental health struggles, you should hear this. Morgan & Morgan is stepping up
It
to
is,
hold these
okay.
platforms accountable for the harm they caused. You can use the
Yeah, big client. That's the big thing with Morgan and Morgan. Big trial law litigation firm. I believe Robert F. Kennedy Jr. was a either an associate or a partner for some time with Morgan and Morgan, spearheading a lot of these types of lawsuits, which you don't expect to get a lot. I think even they are saying it's like, look, the most you can get is maybe 1,000 or a few grand out of this deal. So it's like, don't expect much, but also at the same time, these sorts of lawsuits need to happen against social media companies because, ultimately, fuck them.
link in my description or scan the QR code to take a short quiz.
I
to
like
see
cognac, whiskey, champagne, brandy, and red wine. Oh, man after my own heart. Reminds me, IFK put a tweet out recently where he was trapping a rattlesnake in a bucket, then just picking up to show it off. Yeah, dude's, he's a chad. He really is quite the chad.
if you qualify for a case. You
They have
may
this
be
on,
entitled to a
radios
potential
now.
recovery
Trying
of
to make
over
all the money off of this.
$1,000.
Yeah.
Okay, so the laws that are at play here involve whether or not he was dealing in transactions that are prohibited
Yeah.
with Cuba. So that could be financing, coordinating, or delivering goods he shouldn't have,
Yeah.
staying at or transacting with Cuban government-owned or
He
controlled
was.
entities. There's a list of hotels that are prohibited and where
So
you
you're not able
cannot
to go
stay
there.
Yeah,
in
you
Cuba.
can't stay at certain
There's
hotels.
also other things you're not supposed to be doing while you're there. And the problem
I'm assuming
with
it's because those hotels are owned by the government, right?
Hasan
Yes.
and many
So you'd
live
be giving them
streamers
money?
is that they want to openly
You
brag about committing
openly and directly funding communism.
crimes. In fact, Hasan Piker has encouraged people to commit theft.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
pro stealing from big corporations. Yeah, no, I'm pro piracy all the way, like across the board. We gotta get back to cool crimes like that, like bank robberies. Chaos, full chaos. Let's go. I mean, look.
So
Wow.
what OFAC
And they laugh about all of that. And in reality, it's just just rob the banks that I don't have investments in. Rob the local community credit unions, but not the big finance bros, not your J.P. Morgan Chases and whatnot. Don't do that. It's amazing how you dig deep enough, they're all about. Why is it that so many of the members of the elite circles with communism and communist countries turn out to be just so uber wealthy? And why is it that they always advocate for this stuff, sometimes directly or indirectly, but it's always with their competitors, or it's always with their rivals? Isn't it funny how that works? It's almost like they don't really believe any of this. They just want the power and the money and the control for themselves. Funny that. They laugh because they think they won't get caught. Like I said earlier, they're too dumb to think 15 minutes ahead. Many of them, yeah.
It's so stupid. It's just so stupid, isn't it? Oh my God.
has done here is they've requested information.
Bank
So they've
robberies?
sought out more information to do a review of this activist trip and any particular foreign influence.
I mean, I can tell you that a bank robbery, it's not going to do anything. You're just going to get caught and you're going to go to prison. And the bank's insured for that sort of thing. So many of these financial institutions, even the smaller ones, are just insured to the hilt. They're not going to be hurting from any of this. All the fraudulent transactions that go on, there's so much insurance in the system that it doesn't even make a dent.
Sanctions evasion that might have. Now,
Yeah.
while there are no criminal charges yet, the penalties for this can be very serious, and Hasan Piker indeed is scared.
Is not great. Okay? They're after your boy. We will free you, brother. Yeah, free me. Free me. Free me. I can't believe.
Man. I mean, we were talking earlier about dead-eye stare. This is a dead-eye stare. if ever there was one. The man just, he looks so dead inside. So soulless. Like there's nothing on the inside. And that was just a subpoena, yeah. If he is willing to just bend over and grab the ankles over something like this, imagine what happens when actual charges start getting handed down. He's just going to go absolutely potty.
I'm saying that.
So the potential penalties here can actually stack up. This is under the Cuban Assets Controls and Regulations Act.
What is this?
Which is enforced via the International Emergency Economics Power Act, the IEEPA. So there's two sides to this, a civil side and a criminal side. On the civil side, the penalties can be up to
91,000. I think Hamas Piker's got enough in the bank that he can, that even if the bank were to get robbed like what he's advocating for, I think he's got that much. He'll be all right. He can cut a check for 91 grand, or maybe go to daddy and get some certified funds or something, or even go to his uncle. He'll be all right. Maybe sell some of the designer clothing, the designer accessories, the expensive watches, and come up with that sort of cash if push came to shove. He'll be all right. He'll be all right.
$1,000
That's a lot of
per
money.
violation. So the issue is here, if you go
per violation. Okay. Well, it depends on how many violations we've got.
on one of these trips, let's say you're out there on a long trip and you're doing multiple things, especially if you're live streaming, once again being your own star witness, you might violate several of these provisions. So maybe you're bringing in transacting with goods you're not supposed to bring in, or you're not.
Could be 400K, could be into the millions. This could cost him in the millions of dollars, and that's just on the civil side. Oh no. Anyway.
To buy. Maybe you're staying at a hotel you're not supposed to stay at, or something that's linked to the Cuban government and prohibited. So you may have multiple transactions, so that 91K can stack up against you, and that is indeed the lowest level. But on the highest level, for willfully doing these things, for going out and saying,
I mean, he obviously did it on purpose, right? I mean, like, they're not going to go after somebody that like accidentally stays at a hotel they didn't know, right?
Tell us, Andrew. I'm already on the verge of a Lady Chatterley crisis just hitting. Just thinking of all the things that can happen to Hamas Piker at the hands of this system. I'm very, very excited.
Might harass you or say, like, you got to pay like $100 or something.
His card is comparable in price to some houses. I think he'll make do with what material property wealth he could sell to continue living. Yes. And he's the sort of type that I have money. Yeah, screw the rules. We have money. Or Hamas Piker does anyway. This is... It could very well bankrupt him, but again, he's a Nepo baby. He'll be all right. You know what they say? Poverty builds character.
Well, like, they're probably not going to do anything serious.
I did it, who cares, so what? And bragging
about
probably
it. Not. That's
many
the sad
of these
part.
influencers actually go out and do. Yeah. You can have fines for up to $1 million on the corporate side. For most individuals, about $250,000, $250K.
Oh my...
$1 million. It still seems like a drop in the bucket for someone like Hamas Piker.
Individual side, but you can also face imprisonment for up to 10 years. So there is actual real prison time that
could be Bubba's little bitch for up to 10 years. Oh, wouldn't that just be a horrible, horrible shame if that happened to our Mr. Piker? How awful. MC Wolfcat 1, thank you for the follow.
Can be behind
10. Holy fuck.
I know, how awful. Anyway.
Oh my.
Behind willful violations. Okay. Now, it's very clear that this has not been pressed yet, but it's still on the table. Now, in practical case,
the only way that the DA's office, the federal DA's office, would pursue up to 10 years is if they really wanted to make an example of him because he somehow really pissed them off. I mean, federal prosecutors, they do not fuck around to begin with. And in terms of both civil and criminal procedure at the federal level, it is high church, and it is one of those things that if you make it, if you're headed for a federal courtroom in America, the conviction rate is stupidly high, to where you are strongly encouraged to cut a deal with the feds. If it gets that far, and if they pursue the maximum 10 years, they could very well get it, because that's just the reality of the system that you're dealing with. But again, he would really have had to piss off a lot of the wrong people. I'm in, right? I'm sure Rick Scott would have a word or two. I'm sure he would.
Cases when we look at these things, most of these violations for first timers or non-egregious offenses are typically civil penalties. So they'll typically slap them with some sort of fine. So it might be a 10, 20, 30, 40K.
That's the realistic
Once
outcome.
again, up to 91K.
Right.
These things can add up. Hasan Piker's got money.
They would only pursue 10 years in prison if they really wanted to make an example of him. And what an example it would be.
If you hit him with a couple of these, I mean, that's a dent
like $2
in his
million.
Labubu budget.
It's a lot of money.
Now, we're going to see where this actually plays out. But where I see this happening and being a problem with Piker, whether or not he gets into any problem here, is to look at his pattern of behavior of encouraging criminality.
It's going to be like if he goes to court for this, I think he loses 100%.
Oh, yes.
Like
it's the conviction rate is somewhere 90+%, or even like 95+% if it makes it to a courtroom, to a federal courtroom. You get into a federal courtroom and you are the defendant, you are fucked. You've had it. The system is set up to where all of that is just a formality to maintain the legitimacy of the system. But make no mistake, you've had it. You're done. You are going to be facing some sort of consequence, whether it is fines or prison time. Much cool emotes. Well, I'm glad you like them, MC.
Especially if there's like a jury. Like, I mean, if you see a guy and they just play like his...
You can thank the adorable tuna for most of those. Except for the Wiggly, which was made by Ichigo-chan. Which I don't think she's active anymore. I think she's closed comms, and I don't think her account is active anymore, which is unfortunate because I love the Wiggly emote. That was actually my first Wiggly, my first emote.
Greatest hits of like all the amount of times he's like encouraged, like terrorism. He's encouraged like crime. Like, I mean, it's going to be immediately GG's. Like nobody is going to look at that and be like, oh, okay, this guy is totally... this is a good law-abiding citizen.
No, he's
breaking
not.
the law.
It's
only
happen.
a matter of a time till somebody is...
He's not only a scofflaw, he is also someone who has encouraged regular, deliberate, and quite egregious law-breaking in others. So, in a sense, the term scofflaw, it's even worse than that for someone like him.
Motivated enough to get him on camera saying something and actually punish him. He's gotten away with many of his crimes because they've been local crimes. The local California PD is not that motivated. Many of them are probably politically aligned with Piker, so they might agree with him on other issues, and therefore
definitely
not want to prosecute him. So he's gotten away with a lot, but the feds are not necessarily going to fall into that camp, and they might look at this.
I remember sitting in on a class, a civil procedure class at a law school, just to sort of audit the course. And the professor was just one of those really just white-haired, bearded old man, been practicing law for like 50+ years. The teaching job was just a way for him to pad the retirement account. And the way he described it was... And this was just the civil procedure part. I imagine that it's quite similar with the criminal side of American law too. That local and state courts are kind of a low church or country church. You get to the federal level, it's high church. The rules will be followed. Certain decorum will be observed. Otherwise, you as an attorney are going to be in serious trouble along with your clients. He told the story about a litigator who was prone to some theatrics in lower courts, being able to cry on cue, that sort of thing. He was quite the actor. Well, he gets a trial set up at the federal level, and he starts trying to do that sort of thing with the opening arguments. The judge immediately stops him, calls him towards the bench, and he just says very plainly, "Not in my courtroom, counselor. step back. They don't go in for the sort of things that you would see in the sort of boomer procedural trial lawyer type dramas on television. You know, your LA Laws, your Boston Legals, Boston The Practice, that sort of those sorts of shows. No, at the federal level, that is not tolerated. It's not even really tolerated at the state level in American courtrooms. They're not having any of that sort of thing. It makes for good television, but it's just not reality.
And say, no,
they might be going after him too. Like, here's another thing, right? I mean, he's very clearly a political agitator, and he does so in a way that is open to violence. Like, it's not like, for example, somebody is a political agitator and they're like out there, you know, doing marches or something like that. Like, he's out there like actively encouraging people to break the law, actively promoting terrorism, actively promoting, you know, other types of violence, stuff like that. Like, I mean, this is really it's like there's a larger scale of bad behavior here that's not specific. You know damn well he didn't violate any. It's wild how you're still spreading misinfo. It's wild how he didn't violate any sanctions. Well, let me. So you're arguing his greatest hits would not be valid in this case. They would be valid because it would be used to establish a pattern of behavior. So it's very common inside of a case, in order to build a pattern of behavior, in order to derive intent on whether this person would have a reasonable suspicion that what they were doing was wrong. Intent.
Yeah, and it's, again, just looking at realistic outcomes, might be slapped with a fine, probably going to cut some sort of plea deal. And that's assuming that it even gets that far. It could be one of those things where the same thing that never happens once again, where nothing ever happens, bros, notch another win under the belt, nothing happens to him. And it may have been that the objective was just to get him to roll on other people, which has happened. I mean, like we said, he squealed like a pig, and they hadn't even begun to put the pressure on him. I'm sure there was plenty of people in the federal district attorney's office that were just like, I mean, we knew he would cave. We just didn't think he was going to cave this quickly. They probably cannot believe their good fortune on all of this. Going to leave your lurk turkey. All right, appreciate the lurkies. You can use !lurk if you so desire.
It obviously matters. It's the difference between murder and manslaughter, for example. So they wouldn't be playing the greatest hits to convict him for that. They'd be playing that in order to provide a foundation that they can create an argument that he did know what he was doing and he did it wrong intentionally. So, you know,
Yoda by the door feeding his ketamine. What the hell are you on about, Harold? Stay on topic, mate. Stay on topic.
Family didn't violate any sanctions. I don't know if he did or not. I don't know if he did. The case is supposed to be about funding and violation of sanctions. Well, who knows what it's going to be about, right? I mean, if they subpoena him and they go into discovery,
we won't really know until,
and they find out, like, for example, that he is in direct contact with, like, a Cuban government official, or he is trying to cooperate with them, or he did help them in a material way, then it could be way different. Right? And they will find that out. So I think that you can't be certain that he did nothing wrong, but you also can't be certain that he did something wrong. A subpoena is not an admission or a conviction.
It's a fishing expedition. It's to find out, have you actually done something wrong? And as the Roach King says, they will find out. They always do.
But it does, I mean, like, normal people, like, I'm not sitting here getting subpoenaed for going to Cuba. It's because I didn't do that. Nick Shirley didn't do that. So very clearly there probably is something to this that you and I both know anything about it. I don't know if I see this going, I don't know, I see this going nowhere. It's simply for show. The truth is that you're probably
it is possible. Right. Yeah.
You are. You're probably right about this.
On that he's starting to be sensible. That, yeah, it may very well be scare tactics. Again, if this is all it takes for Hasan Piker to turn into an absolute songbird, then perhaps that's what this was already about. Because believe me, there's people at the federal level in the DA's office that are a hell of a lot smarter and cleverer than he will ever hope to be, who probably saw this coming from a mile away.
There are a lot of people that don't get
That is
prosecuted for
highly
things they
possible.
could have done wrong. It happens all the time. I talk about it on a daily basis. So the fact that somebody doesn't get in trouble for something doesn't necessarily mean that they didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah. There's a lot of guilty people that are still walking free. Just ask the people who live in the absolute state that is modern Britannia. We saw that with the previous segment.
I mean, like, let's be real.
On your face violation here and actually hold him to task. And I cannot wait till the day comes that Hasan Piker actually reaps some of what he's sown. Because once again, he has openly encouraged criminality time and time again. But I want to know what you guys think in the comments below, and I will catch you on the next one.
I think it's been pretty interesting to watch how pretty much everybody has been against him. All the right-wing people.
He is well overdue for his comeuppance.
Majority of the left-wing people, like nearly everybody have been against him. And the reason why I think is very simple. It's because he's represented a subversive group of people inside of American politics that all they do is just simply make politics harder for liberals and also add in identity politics that are not really congruent with any sort of American values, right?
Yeah. He's been a troublemaker, an agent saboteur that was an obvious thorn in the side for people on the right. And now he's becoming a problem for people on the left. And he can't really stop himself. And he's kind of committed to the bit at this point. I really wonder if he's truly believes any of this shit that he peddles. It's one of the things that leftists constantly project about. They're the ones that are constantly calling people like us on the right grifters. And yet, you look at Hasan Piker, you look at his lifestyle. The man lives in the lap of luxury in Los Angeles in a big, expensive, fancy house. He wears expensive designer clothes. He's got fancy jewelry. He's got, he's got sunglasses and eyeglass frames that cost more than my first car. Yet we're the grifters. We're the grifters. They always project, don't they? It really seems like they're always the ones projecting. Throwing out names and it's only the initial bit. Mr. Piker's going to be in quite the hot water, indeed. And for some time. And you love to see it because, again, it's about time he got his comeuppance.
I'll link you guys the video before I do that real quick.
Yeah.
And I mean, I like Andrew's videos a lot. I totally, agree with him. I think definitely
go follow Legal Mindset, everybody.
For like some level of accountability after so many of these clips that are just like so obviously fucking like, I mean, how do you say something like this and not face consequences, right?
Yeah, it is. Legal Mindset's good people. Got some really good takes. Probably one of the most sensible voices out there in terms of legal analysis. And I also find it very flattering that people have sort of put my name and his in the same sentence, saying because I think he talks about a lot of Vtuber things, and he's a fan of Vtubers, and it was brought up in one of his live streams one time. It's like, Andrew, if you're looking for someone to maybe model your VTuber model after, you should look at this Lord Rexworth guy. He's really something. I was absolutely tickled when someone brought my name up to Andrew. That was really something. It's like, oh, I'm getting noticed. His Cartier sunglasses cost slightly less than what I get at the end of every month. Yeah. He probably spends more on clothes and cars than what most people will even hope to make in several years.